Chapter 1. Be proactive. Most people think life happens to them. Traffic makes them angry, boss ruins their mood, weather decides their energy. Stephen Covey starts this book by quietly dropping a powerful truth. Highly effective people don't wait for life to change. They respond differently. Habit 1 is called Be Proactive. And no, it does not mean waking up at 5 a.m., drinking green juice, and shouting, "I am motivated," in the mirror. It simply means this: you are responsible for your life. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there is a small space. That space is your power. And in that space, you choose your attitude, your action, your future. Most people live in what Covey calls a reactive mode. If things go right, they're happy. If things go wrong, they complain, blame, and wait. Reactive language sounds like, "I can't help it. That's just how I am. My boss, my parents, my situation." Proactive people talk differently. "I choose. I will find a way. I am responsible." Here's a simple, real-life example from the chapter. Two employees have the same rude boss. One becomes bitter, negative, and demotivated. The other focuses on learning, improving skills, and preparing for a better role. Same boss, same office, different results. Why? Because one reacted, the other responded. Covey explains that what makes humans special is self-awareness. Animals react on instinct. Humans can pause, think, and choose. You may not control your job, your past, or other people, but you always control your attitude, your effort, your next step. And here's a line inspired by the book that hits hard. When you stop blaming the world stops controlling you. Being proactive does not mean ignoring problems. It means focusing on your circle of influence, the things you can control, instead of wasting energy on the circle of concern, things you can't. Worried about the economy, weather, other people's opinions? Congratulations, welcome to the circle of concern, free stress included. But your skills, habits, health, mindset, discipline, that's your circle of influence, and that's where growth lives. The moment you take responsibility, power comes back to you. And the moment power comes back, excuses quietly leave the room. One simple one-liner to remember this habit. You don't control the cards you're dealt, but you always control how you play them. Habit 1 is the foundation. Without it, no habit works, because until you say, "I am responsible," nothing really changes. Chapter 2, begin with the end in mind. Most people start running without knowing where they're going, busy all day, tired at night, and confused about why life still feels empty. Stephen Covey gently asks a dangerous question here. Where are you actually headed? Habit 2 is called Begin with the End in Mind. Simple words, but very uncomfortable if taken seriously. It means decide who you want to become before life decides it for you. Covey says everything is created twice. First in the mind, then in reality. A building is imagined before it's built. A movie is written before it's filmed. But most people try to build their life without a clear blueprint. They wake up, scroll, work, earn, and repeat, and one day ask, "How did I even end up here?" This habit is about vision, not motivational quotes on the wall, real clarity. What kind of person do you want to be? What do you want people to say about you when you're not in the room? Covey gives a powerful mental exercise. Imagine your own funeral. You're not the one lying there, you're listening. Your family, friends, colleagues are speaking about you. Now pause. What do you want them to say? Awkward silence or words like honest, reliable, loving, disciplined? That moment tells you whether you're living intentionally or accidentally. Most people let society write their script. Money defines success. Status defines worth. Busy defines importance.
Covey flips this and says true success comes from living by principles, not pressure. Here's a relatable example. Two people choose careers. One chooses money because lo gyakahenge. The other chooses based on values and long-term meaning. 10 years later, one is rich but restless. The other is calm, growing, and fulfilled. Same effort, different direction. Here's a line inspired by this chapter. If you don't decide your destination, every road will feel exhausting. Habit 2 also introduces the idea of a personal mission statement, not a boring corporate sentence, a clear inner compass that guides decisions. When temptation comes, mission helps. When confusion hits, mission helps. When opportunities distract, mission protects. Light humor but hard truth. If your life had Google Maps, most people are driving with location off. One powerful one-liner to remember this habit. Clarity today saves regret tomorrow. Habit 2 is leadership, but first, leadership of yourself. Because before you manage time, money, or people, you must manage direction.
Chapter 3. Put first things first. Everyone says they are busy, but being busy is not the same as being effective. Stephen Covey opens this chapter by exposing a simple truth. Time management without priorities is just stress management. Habit 3 is called Put First Things First. It means learning how to organize and execute your life around what truly matters, not around what screams the loudest. Most people spend their days reacting to messages, notifications, deadlines, and other people's emergencies. Urgent things shout, important things whisper. Covey introduces a powerful idea here, the time management matrix. Life is divided into 4 types of activities. Things that are urgent and important but not important but not urgent, and neither urgent nor important. Here's the trap. Most people live in urgency. Emails, calls, meetings, social media, all noise. But highly effective people spend more time in important but not urgent activities. Things like health, relationships, learning, planning, self-discipline. These don't shout today, but they punish tomorrow if ignored. A real-life example from this habit. 2 people have the same 24 hours. One keeps postponing exercise, family time, and learning because abhi kaam zyada hai. The other schedules these first, not after free time, but before it. After years, one wonders where energy went. The other wonders how life became balanced. Here's a line inspired by this chapter. If you don't decide what matters most, everything else will decide for you. Habit 3 also talks about discipline over mood. Waiting to feel like it is the fastest way to stay stuck. Effective people act based on values, not feelings. Light humor, but painful truth. Most people plan their phone charging better than their life. Saying no is a big part of this habit. Every yes to distractions is a no to your priorities. Every yes to priorities feels uncomfortable at first, but peaceful later. One powerful one-liner from this habit. Urgent is loud, important is quiet. Choose wisely. Habit 3 turns vision into action. Habit 2 decides direction. Habit 3 walks the path. Chapter 4. Think win-win. Most people think life is a competition. If I win, you must lose. If you go ahead, I must fall behind. Stephen Covey calls this the biggest misunderstanding about success. Habit 4 is think win-win. It doesn't mean being soft, weak, or always saying yes. It means believing that success is not limited and there is enough for everyone. Win-win is a mindset before it is a technique. It starts with character, integrity, maturity, and an abundance mentality. Without these, win-win becomes just a nice-sounding sentence. Covey explains that there are 6 ways people usually think. win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, win-win, win-win or no deal, and no deal. But most people live in win-lose, either dominating others or feeling dominated. Win-lose says, I'll win no matter what. Lose-win says, it's okay, I'll adjust. Both create frustration. Win-win says, let's find a solution that benefits both of us. A simple real-life example. In a workplace conflict, one person wants credit, the other wants recognition. Win-lose creates enemies. Lose-win creates resentment. Win-win creates respect. Credit is shared, growth is mutual. Here's a line inspired by this habit. When success needs someone else to fail, it's not real success. Think win-win requires courage to speak honestly and consideration to care about others. Only one without the other creates imbalance. Light humor but sharp truth. Win-lose may win the argument, but win-win wins the relationship. Covey also introduces win-win or no deal. If no fair solution exists, walking away peacefully is better than forcing a bad one. Not every deal is worth winning. One powerful one-liner to remember this habit. Strong relationships are built on shared victories, not silent sacrifices. Habit 4 shifts success from ego to collaboration, because long-term effectiveness is never solo, it's always shared. Chapter 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most people don't listen to understand, they listen to reply. While the other person is still talking, the mind is already preparing an answer. Stephen Covey says this habit alone can fix more problems than motivation ever will. Habit 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. It sounds polite, simple, almost obvious, but in real life it's rare. We listen from our own filter, our experiences, our emotions, our ego. Covey explains that real communication is not about talking more, it's about listening deeply. Not just words, but feelings, intent, meaning. He introduces the idea of empathetic listening. This means listening with the intention to understand, not to judge, advise, or interrupt. A very real example. A child says, "I don't like school." Most adults reply instantly, "Study properly. Everyone goes to school. You're overthinking." That's not listening. That's fixing. Empathetic listening would sound like, "Something at school is bothering you. Tell me more." Same situation, completely different outcome. Here's a line inspired by this chapter. People don't need advice first. They need understanding first. Covey says when people feel truly understood, their defensiveness drops, trust increases, and only then are they open to influence. Light humor but sharp truth. Most arguments are not because of different opinions, but because no one felt heard. Only after understanding comes the second part, to be understood. And when you speak after listening, your words carry weight instead of resistance. One powerful one-liner to remember this habit. Listening is not waiting for your turn to talk. Habit 5 builds emotional intelligence, because before you fix a relationship, you must first understand it. Chapter 6. Synergize. Most people think teamwork means compromise. You give a little, I give a little. Stephen Covey says real teamwork is not compromise, it's creation. Habit 6 is synergize. It means valuing differences instead of fighting them, not tolerating diversity, using it. Synergy happens when two people think differently, and instead of clashing, they combine strength to create something better than either could alone. Covey explains that synergy is 1 + 1 = 3, sometimes even more. In most conflicts, people want to prove they're right. Synergy asks a better question. What solution are we missing? A simple example. Two colleagues argue over a project approach. One is creative but unstructured. The other is logical but rigid. Without synergy, conflict. With synergy, creativity gets structure.
Structure gets innovation, and the result is stronger than both ideas alone. Here's a line inspired by this chapter. When differences are respected, solutions multiply. Synergy requires trust, and trust is built when habit 4, win-win, and habit 5, understanding, are already in place. Light humor, but true. If everyone in a team thinks the same way, someone is unnecessary. Covey also reminds us that synergy is not chaos. It needs open-mindedness, humility, and patience. Not every discussion will be comfortable, but growth rarely is. One powerful one-liner to remember this habit. Sameness feels safe. Difference creates progress. Habit 6 shows that success is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about creating the smartest room.
Chapter 7. Sharpen the saw. Most people keep cutting, even when the blade is blunt. They say, "No time to rest, too busy." Stephen Covey smiles and says, "That's exactly why you're tired." Habit 7 is sharpen the saw. It means renewing yourself regularly so you don't burn out while trying to succeed. Not stopping work, but upgrading the worker. Covey shares a simple story. A man is cutting a tree non-stop. Someone suggests sharpening the saw. He replies, "I'm too busy cutting to stop." That's how most lives are lived. Sharpening the saw means balancing 4 areas of life: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Ignore even one, and performance drops. Physical renewal is simple but ignored. Sleep, movement, food, breathing. No, motivation does not replace sleep. Mental renewal means learning, reading, thinking. Scrolling is not learning, it's noise. Emotional renewal comes from relationships, talking, listening, laughing, being present. Success feels empty without connection. Spiritual renewal is about meaning, values, purpose, silence. Not religion, direction. Here's a line inspired by this chapter. Rest is not laziness, it's maintenance. Light humor, but reality check. People service their car regularly, but expect their mind and body to run forever without care. Habit 7 is not optional. It protects all the other habits. Without renewal, discipline becomes force, and force never lasts. One powerful one-liner to remember this habit. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by becoming better. Habit 7 closes the cycle, because effectiveness is not about speed, it's about sustainability. The 7 habits of highly effective people. By the time you reach here, one thing becomes very clear. This book is not about quick success or surface-level motivation. It's about character before techniques. Stephen Covey doesn't ask you to fix your life overnight. He asks you to fix how you see life. From being reactive to proactive. From chasing goals to living with values. From managing time to managing direction. The 7 habits work like a ladder. You don't jump to the top. You climb one habit at a time. Private victory comes first, taking responsibility, creating clarity, doing what truly matters. Then comes public victory, thinking win-win, listening to understand, and creating synergy. And finally, renewal, because growth without balance always collapses. This book quietly reminds us of something powerful. Success is not about speed, it's about alignment. You don't need to change everything today. You just need to live intentionally. Small shifts in habits create deep shifts in life. One final line inspired by the book to carry forward. Effectiveness is not what you do once, it's who you become every day.
If this journey through the 7 habits of highly effective people gave you even one thought to pause and reflect, then this time was well spent. Real growth doesn't happen in a moment. It happens when ideas turn into habits. If you found value here, like this video so it reaches more people who need it. Share it with someone who's working on becoming better every day. Subscribe to Gyanverse for more book-based wisdom, simple ideas, and practical motivation. And don't forget to press the bell icon so every new lesson finds you on time.